Hi.
Hi, everybody. TheoSophia here. Welcome, Sheila, with me tonight.
Hi.
And to our first healing circle. Healing circles are what I've done most for the last 30 years, and I thought, why not try to do it on YouTube? Hello, Rita. Hi, Carol. So, first thing I want to do is a prayer because we're going to be talking about love tonight. And I want you to know that as everybody gathers, we're going to work with a consciousness. And as we may be working with one person, it's going to touch everybody. So there could be one who's quiet and nothing speaks to them or anything through the night, but they'll leave and realize that it was a powerful thing, that it also touched them. So I'm going to call in the energy of grace and ask Mother and Father to come and to reach down into our space that's probably all around the world, and bring a protection as we call on Archangel Michael. And he moves his sword around us in protection. And he has fairies of his energy from his army come around each person, and they'll just buzz around you, healing all the energy that comes up about love tonight. We're going to also ask for a platinum net that will fall down over like you won't even be aware, but it's clearing any negativity from your day or from within you that doesn't need to interfere with what we're doing. And we're going to ask Serapis Bey, the Master of Ascension, to bring a beautiful illumined pillar of light next to each of you, letting your ascension radiate to you, getting more prepared, a deeper understanding of love. You can't really own and accept something unless you've moved into the understanding of it. Wonderful. And now I can see a beautiful tomb of a hologram being offered around us, and it's going to spin very fast, creating a space of being safe. So, welcome to our evening. I first would like to take a moment and share what love means to me. How I began, I'm sure you've heard people say, oh, yeah, I love myself. And what I found over the 30 years, very few really understand how to truly love all 144,000 pieces of yourself. It's the path. It's why we all are on this journey. Places that we want to hide, places that we don't want to believe could be us. But we've lived a lot of lives. That's what we forget. And we've been a lot of different parts of ourselves. So tonight's about just knowing that whatever it is, love is what transforms it. And the power of that. I myself left for Thailand as a married woman and was offered the heart mantra, and what love was that day totally changed for me. I guess I thought it was an emotion, which it isn't an emotion, it's a feeling that you feel, and I realized it was a connection between me and God and all that that entailed. And it was a development of me. It was one of the most profound days I can ever say I experienced. And I did. I looked around and I fell in love with my twin flame. He happened to be there. So love is a powerful thing and can have a lot of profound, beautiful things happen in your life. And if they're not so beautiful, they happen for you to grow. And that's what we're here to help support anyone with if they feel that tonight. So I'm going to be quiet. I'm a chatter. And allow Sheila to share with you how she is about love.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this, and I really do appreciate it. And thank you for everybody who shows up to share in this video with us, because the energy we have and the energy that you have, we can put that all together and we can figure this all out. For me, a love was a little sketchy and a little elusive, and I really didn't understand it, and I didn't know. However, there was one time somebody was telling me something about examples of love. And examples of love are in nature, for one thing. So there was one that really stuck with me the most. It's like you talked about God and the higher power and stuff like that. And I would think that this is how it was explained to me that, the sun would be like higher power or God, that is always there and constant and never goes away. It's there every morning and every evening it goes away, but there's somebody else also has the sun that's always burning for us. And in this tree who stands there, and this tree stands there for this light because it needs this light to live. And the love that examples comes from that is that the sun never asked that tree to be anything other than a tree. That is the purest example of love. And it really, really stuck with me because if I am going to be an example of love, and if I am only going to accept love, I need to, at some level, make sure that that is a component of how I see love and how I'm giving love. I don't want that other person, animal, flower, anything to be anything other than who and what they are. And I am there to just send love, right? If I am wanting to do anything other than that, I'm not doing what love recommends us to do. So that was my experience and how I have grown to understand love. It is a journey. It's not something it comes naturally to me. I don't know if it comes naturally to anybody to really truly understand the importance of what love really really is. And I'm still learning. The journey is not done for sure. So that's what I have.
Right. Exactly what I was saying. There's, oh,
I'm here.
okay. um, so we have all these parts of us that we may be ignoring or not touching. And tonight is about to help us understand that it doesn't have to be a difficult process. You've been on it, I've been on it, a lot of people are on the path. And it continues to open up a whole new experience of ourselves. And, when you talked about moving love through your heart, the interesting part that God has taught me is you radiate that love. You want to not have to hold tight on it. You want to just let that begin to radiate out into wherever, and knowing it has the power of God within it, it can't get hurt, it can't get into trouble. But when we touch other people, it offers them the opportunity to feel the love for themselves. They used to call it a person who was becoming an incubator. And they were called forth to some of the loving temples in the Ascension Temple to come and be that incubator that was going to be the one to radiate the truth, the depth of the love about an individual. And you don't realize being around someone that is really what you're searching for. We think we're looking for love. We're looking for the incubator of that radiance, of the purest love to touch us. So we have a number of people coming on. Barbara.
Yes, we are getting a lot of people in here. Rod is in here. Sharon Sipe is in here. Liz Toth is in here. Yeah, there's a lot of people that I'm recognizing from all of the lives that we do. So yeah, I wanted to kind of add. I kind of wanted to add on to that. You know how I learned the most about love is breaking all the rules about love, right? I mean, who learns that way like me? I mean, there's got to be my people out there.
It must be your choice.
Yes. So I learned a lot about that too. But sometimes if I'm not doing the right thing, I'm like, okay, that really didn't feel good. And then I have this nice little thing inside of me that says, this is not the way to do it. And then when you get back on path, you feel good about what you said or did. And these are also the biggest lessons that I've learned about love as well. I do know that the one of the you said something, and I was going to comment on that about love, was that we have somebody had told me that it's not like you feel love from somebody else. The love that you feel is the love that you feel for somebody else. And when that energy matches your love, then that energy builds. It's not like you can feel the love from somebody else. It is the love that you feel for them. Is that making any sense? It's like that's where we talk about love seeking its own, energy seeking its own level. Once that connection of evenness fills up, then we know, like, ooh, this is it. But when somebody says, I have love for somebody, but they're not receiving that love back, that's where that discord, like in marriages, in relationships, it doesn't go well. Lack of communication. I don't see eye to eye. There's something to that saying, I don't see eye to eye. The truth is, I don't see energy to energy, is really what we should be saying to each other, that the energy is not matching up. And so I just wanted to kind of iterate that too as well.
Well, the truth of what I want to maybe elaborate on what you said is we fall in love, but what we do is we give our hearts away to people and then wonder why we get hurt. And my teachings I've received have been to love yourself and let that be the love that you have govern yourself and return to and to feel similar to what you said, and share your love with a partner. But every end of the day, bring that love back inside yourself. So then
Sure.
you are an independent, strong person. It's not about, we have too many, in my perception, people in the world that have given their heart away and then wonder why someone hurts it. And I would suggest not to do that. It's about loving you so much that when you're with that person, you can share love, but you don't know, no matter how much you love them, it should be you keep your own love sacred inside yourself.
Right. So there was a thing, back in the day in my 20s, somebody would say, just like you just got to love yourself. And I would just like, yeah, whatever. Why do you keep on telling me this? Right. I was just so angry because
Yeah.
telling me that I'm supposed to love myself, knowing that I have no idea how to get there, was extremely frustrating. And I think this is pretty much what we're kind of talking about that. First of all, I had to, in order for me to get to the path of loving, I don't love everything about me. This is the truth. I'm 50 years old and I'm still on that path. But you see, I had to start with literal acceptance of who I am. I had to start on a little breadcrumb to love and acceptance. Okay, I accept I am this way. Okay, fine. Let's get to that point. I'm accepting that this is it. And then we can grow from there and say, is there anything in that acceptance and anything after I know that whatever it is going on right now is perfectly okay. Let's see if we can then move and improve on that. And I always had to go through spirit. I never did it on my own. You see, that was the one thing that I learned the most, was I always had to buddy up, had to connect, and I had to co-create with spirit in order for all of this change and love and acceptance and all of that for who I am to really become of an existence. And I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like we love you. Now my expectations of my love are now thrown up on you. And when you do not meet my expectations because I love you, then that's where we start becoming into some serious problems, right?
Even though it's supposed to be unconditional love.
Well, unconditional love literally is, I love you and you can move about the cabin freely. That's unconditional love. Therefore, that person doesn't have to love me back. That person doesn't have to, do anything. I can just say, I love you. If this relationship is not working, I'm going to love you while I'm over here. but you can still move about the cat. And therefore, that's what you're talking about, is bringing that love back into ourselves. You see, I place no expectations on you through the love that I have for you. And that's, I think, is where we get also mixed
I
up, is we
agree.
throw up on them. Yeah.
So I would like to talk a minute about the things that have us, the lesson show itself that we need to love ourselves more. Like whenever we get stubborn and defiant or angry or blaming someone else. Those are all situations where we're not loving ourselves and we're placing that upon other people outside of ourselves, and everybody becomes a magnet to each other. So if we can understand that and begin to say, wow, this is great. Show me the lesson here. What do I need to learn about being controlling, stubborn, separate? And what happens is we'll naturally begin to see and need to look inside. And when you can love that part of you, that little part of you who maybe it was 2 generations ago, and that part of you has been crying all that time, and you begin to embrace that, then you have changed yourself. Then you have begun to illumine with a greater light who you are, which is the miracle of it all. You know, the
Yeah,
miracle of God is the loving, healing energy.
absolutely. I that was that saying where we have to partner up with, co-create with spirit, God, higher power, whoever it is for you, right?
Yeah.
Whoever it is, because that's where we get lost. Human beings by themselves get lost in what we start placing conditions on love. So we have to go back to the source of love in order to get powered back up so that we can become more clear and understanding. I know that in my life, I remember that one change. I used, how I used you approach life. I approach life with manipulation, with do what I want, I'm in control, this, that, and the other, because that's what I was taught. And I remember going, this is not working. Something else has to work. This is not working. And I
Yeah.
remember going, just literally that one moment when you have ideas drop into your mind, you have no idea where they're coming from. The idea dropped into my head, says, why don't you just treat every single situation with love? And I thought, wow, that's better, right? Somebody is being mean to you. What would love say? Love says that that person is hurting. Why don't you ask them what's going on instead of getting upset about what they're saying? How about you search for somebody's energy of, their pain? Maybe you can help them through that. Maybe there's something that you have. And then these are the things that I just learned. It's not easy. This is not for the weak-hearted. I guarantee you that. However, I think that's what you were talking about, is when we approach life with literal question, how can I approach this situation with love? It changes everything that you do with everybody that you encounter.
Yeah. Well, I did have a question for tonight. I don't, and I'll share it. I won't share the name. I don't think I've seen her go by. When love disappoints, how do you heal that?
Mm.
I thought this was, I don't think I need to share the situation because I'm sure we've all felt disappointed by love before. And again, I think some of what I said earlier about giving your love away, you can't be disappointed when someone didn't know how you really feel or who the love of you truly is. So I want to say is sit in meditation and call forth love to come up again inside your heart and to let it expand and touch every cell of who you are. Let it know that there are parts of those cells that are still crying, that are angry, that have feelings. Where are those things that come out of you? They're within your muscular and cellular structure. So if we can begin to learn that love is our answer when we're feeling that it has let us down, we go, where is it? It's inside your heart. And we can expand it and let it become more and more and let it grow and touch every cell, and it will begin to become very different in the world. So if you can start each morning with reminding yourself that, um, things will change. And we have a question here on the feed. Why
Well,
would
with that, oh, I was
what?
going to answer a little bit. I was going to answer a little bit on that question.
That's fine.
Um, on that little bit of question, disappointment comes with a great big, huge heaping of expectation. Give me extra expectation in order to get disappointment. And so that's the acceptance. Like, what did I expect out of that person? How much did I hold them accountable to how I'm feeling? And therefore, if we're going to approach that with love, love says that that person reacts to what they know and how they feel and what they're going on, and it has never ever been about you. Other people's reactions and what they do and stuff like that, you gotta
Mm-hmm.
separate that. That has nothing to do with you. And if that has nothing to do with you, then I need to rein back my expectations of what I
Right.
think that other person should be acting like, because I have no idea what their journey is. I have no idea what 10 years ago is making them act like this right now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like a disappointment is usually served up with a great big huge 2 scoops of expectations. So I just wanted to
Thank
comment on
you.
that as well.
And I want to say the similar thing as people who give their power away. It's just
Yes.
repetitive and repetitive in our world that we give it to medical profession. We give it to all kinds of people we have in our life that they know better than you know what should come next or what step you should make. And it's all the same kind of action against your own heart and the love that you're attempting to live. And you need to bring it all back inside. Doesn't mean to wall out the world, not at all. But the world will become different when you let yourself see it from the love inside yourself instead of trying to see it through the eyes of people that you aren't really a part of or know what they're thinking. So it's a excuse me, it's a very powerful place to look and to understand.
That's that co-creation with spirit or God.
Yeah.
See, I say, do I need a doctor? Yes. Can you please point me to a doctor? Yes, I can help you with that. You see what I mean? It makes a huge difference when you know that the information and the co-creating and the tapping in is the guidance. That doctor's not the guidance. Spirit is the guidance to teach you and show
Right.
you to take you to the person who has knowledge about what's going on. And then while you're there, ask spirit to help you with the questions. You know what I'm saying? If
Yep.
we truly are living our life where we're co-creating with spirit, there's nothing out there that can hurt us. Nothing out there that can can be. We'll go
Well, if
off
we
into the
believe they're
weeds, and we
all the essence of God, there would be nothing to fear.
yeah.
And
But
that's
that's
why I
easier
think,
said than done, right?
well, that's the call now for everyone to wake up and discover the love within them so we can
Absolutely,
have a world that we live in that's more loving
absolutely.
instead of the illusion that everybody's living by.
Yep,
So
I like
here's,
this one here. Connie Brown says it's called living from within, inside out, and not the outside in. That is how we dine our
yeah,
tonight. Maybe she messed up on that, but yeah, exactly. Living from within out.
there was a question from earlier I want to get to here.
Yes.
Let me go back.
Hi, Sharon. Nasty woman, Sharon. While
It
you
was
look for
about,
that question, I'll go ahead and say hello to a lot of
okay,
people I see in here. Um, well, Sharon's in here, Debbie's in here, Sharon, Karen Johnson, Silver. Wow, there's a lot of people in here. Connie Brown, guys. Hi, everyone.
all right, so here's the question. Why would an angelic being like pets sign up for abuse?
Oh,
Okay. Well, I have a response for this question.
Okay.
I get that that's not a good question for you. So we'll take it from animals to, do you remember when there always used to be all the little pictures of the Indian children that were starving?
Yes.
Okay, I have says that we are offline.
We're still
Doesn't,
going. Everything's good.
okay. So anyway, those beings in that moment came down as masters who weren't going to be attached with how their life looked or what they did. They gave of themselves to help humanity. So I believe that a lot of what we think are abusive things are helping those of us who haven't yet understood a deep level of love, and they're giving us the opportunity to heal that. So it's not why do they, it's um, an opportunity they're giving to everyone to heal from it. That we have a doggy with us too.
Oh, I have a full house. I have grandchildren back, doggies. Circus over at Sheila's house.
So I hope that makes sense to you, Laura. Um, we don't
I
always
have a
understand why the masters work the way they do.
correct. That was been my whole thing is I have a hard time uh, going into that kind of energy. Like, why do they have to suffer for us to learn the lesson? I've always asked that. However, I really haven't had a huge thing. It is to empower me to save that dog. It isn't if you see it like how many times I don't know if you've experienced this. Anybody in the chat has experienced this. I am at the right time, at the right place with the right dog or the right child at all times. Like, does this, am I going to be empowered to save, say something, or do something about what is going on, the injustices going on? And that has been the only thing that I can explain it away. Like, if you're seeing it, you're in the witness. You there. You are the one. You are the one that's supposed to speak up and save and do something. And I think that has a lot to do with our society, is what you're saying, is we have that opportunity to heal that situation by speaking up and giving that person who or animal that is suffering a voice. And that's how we heal the society and things that are going on.
Okay. So I have another thought that's coming through me, and even any kind of difficulty type of thing that we think about. You must understand that since people were burned at the stake, God calls those people home before they feel the physical pain. We all may not remember it in this moment, but God has never asked us to experience that pain and anguish in the physical body. He asks us to come home. So, for those who still hold that within themselves, have responded by saying, no, I'll stay here and take care of it. So, we must always remember this isn't about what God does to us. It's we are at choice in how we live and what we do. And that's what I believe,
Absolutely.
because that answer comes so many times.
Ron, Unconditional Love Tarot, says that animals teach us about unconditional love.
Yeah.
And they absolutely do, are some of the best examples that I can bring up and retrieve on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Is my dog's love for me. They could care less what I had done out in the world, right?
They're the best.
Care less. And I come back and they are just incredibly happy to see me. And they're there. Yep.
You know, I was raised on a farm. I
Not
remember the
cats. They're
day.
just dogs. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, we had everything. I can remember my pet cow, Pokey, driving out of the driveway. Oh, you'll see her again. And at that moment, I didn't know what really happened. You know, she was gone. And the pet lamb and the kitties that got hit by lightning. I had such a great experience of a dad who understood it will come back. It will come back. You may just not see it, but it will. And to become unattached to those things that I love so dearly because it was about loving me. For those of you who can hear that, it's a great lesson.
Yeah, one of my favorite books is Untethered. I forget who writes it. I wish I could remember authors' names, but that's just not who I am. So, but I remember the name of the book is called Untethered Soul. Oh my gosh, it was the best lesson that I learned. Untether myself from this earthly ideals, these earthly expectations, these earthly conditions, and to untether myself to know that I am God, I am love, I am connected, I am this. That I think is probably one of my pivotal points in my life, that I realized how important it is to be co-creating with my higher power, not co-creating my life with you, but co-creating my life with my higher power, and therefore I can be with you. You see, I can be around everybody, and everybody can move about the cabin freely, and I don't have to get disturbed about it.
I'm just saying the truth. If we can live in the love we are and radiate that through in our life, some of these things would not show themselves, because we will have understood the unattachment, the vibrancy, and the higher expression that love can be, and we would live in a joyful life. And I know that may sound euphoric, but I know it's true. So we're a choice in what we believe and where we go. And someone's asking, what was the book, Sheila?
I wrote it in the chat. The Untethered Soul. Somebody I'm sure can Google real fast who wrote that book and probably put the author up.
Okay.
I want to say Eckhart Tolle, but I could be wrong. I could be lying, so I don't want to do that. But he has some really good books as well. I like reading Eckhart Tolle's books because when I hear him speak, he's kind of monotone. So I kind of check out a little bit, so I'll read his books instead. Or auto. I usually do some auto books with it.
Yes, I see here from a lot of people have issues with people at work.
Oh, here we go. I have some guy.
Well,
you go for it, but I have some really harsh lessons that I've learned about the conditional love with that, and even a story or two.
We'll go right ahead.
Okay, so my spiritual teacher, and I've had a spiritual teacher for over 21 years now, that I have accumulated and made sure that I had somebody that I need to bounce things off of, because sometimes spirit tries to tell me, but they start speaking through my spiritual teacher. So there's that too. Always get somebody who is on your side spiritually. So anyways, I would have this boss, and she'd always get on my nerves, and we're just clashing, and I'm having problems. Work environment is, I can't pick my bosses and I can't pick my coworkers because I'm not in charge, right? So I having problems with my boss constantly. And I remember telling this to my spiritual teacher, and then she said, let's go back a little bit. And she goes, I asked her, I said, what do you mean go back a little bit? And I says, let's go back a little bit. Who is the one woman that you've had problems like this all of your life? I'm like, oh, that's my sister. And I said, if you do not resolve this problem that you have, this resentment, this chaos, this stuff that we carry around with other people, if you don't resolve it, heal it, take care of it, you will come across your sister forever. And it doesn't mean that your sister is in physical form. This is another person just like her, just another person just like her, just another person just like her. So what I had to do is I had to back up, and I had to go and deal with, I know I had a grandchild like that. I had to back up, and I had to deal with my sister. I had to deal with what was going on. I had to hit it head on, get this over with, talk. I said, okay, if we're not meant to be together for the rest of our lives, fine, let's do that. But whatever it is, that part needs ending, curing, taken care of. healing. I don't care what happens because I do not want another boss like that again, right? I don't want to keep
Well,
on.
I'm going to
I
take
don't
it
want
one
to
step
keep on
further. I
encountering.
think it was about the you that you were around your sister.
True. Oh yes, absolutely. Good
That's the
thing.
root
Yes.
of it.
Right. I come across another person just like my sister, and I bubble up with the. No,
Yep.
thank you.
So it's
Yes,
really within you. You
exactly.
can't change your sister.
Correct. It is how I was approaching my sister. That is absolutely. So I needed to get that taken care of. All of a sudden, when I went backwards and did that, um, she was gone. My boss was gone. It was like a dissolving of the
Like
whole
magic.
situation. Yeah, like magic. It was gone. It was over with. I'm like, wow. And why does it take me so long to go deal with that? I will never know that about me or anybody else that has that struggle. But it's like, okay, so I'm not going to wait 20 years to deal with it now. Maybe I'm going to shorten it to 10 years. I don't know, maybe 3 years. But what I'm trying to say is don't take so long to deal with this because you will have this problem for the rest of your life until this issue is done.
That's
And
true.
now,
That's what you've come for.
yeah, now I work all by myself. I don't have coworkers. So I don't. I go to
Now,
work
is
and I'm
that
like,
really resolving it?
I don't know, but all I
Don't
know
see
is
me as your sister.
this is true. Well, yeah, because I do have my reader sisters and brothers and sisters that I do come across. But sometimes there's some conflict going on or something strange going on, and I have to back up a little bit and wonder why. What is going on, right? Is it
Yes.
me? Is it them? Is it
Yes.
something I need to? So yeah, absolutely. I mean, just because we're readers doesn't mean that we all like kumbaya and love each other. We have to work with each other as well. And we have to have bring us and personalities into the situation as well. And sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. And I have to accept that as well. So, yes, absolutely.
Because we're
And
always
I don't,
all stretching. It's just the nature of every day. What's going to
right.
stretch you each day to make you feel uncomfortable in some way to have to love yourself more? That is
That
the
is
act.
correct. And that would bring that whole story all the way back to another part. Sheila, love yourself to go deal with your disruptions inside.
Yeah.
Love yourself enough to go and heal the pain, the anger, the resentment, whatever. And that was just another level of love that I understood about who and what I am. And
Yeah.
that brings that about with me.
I
And
agree. I think that's a powerful lesson for
100%.
everyone to hear.
So, yeah, if there's problems at work, it's usually not them.
No. And if you
It has
become
nothing
in
to
your
do with
loving
them.
state, everyone's going to just not understand why they just love you.
Right.
It's just a
Oh,
natural.
absolutely. Yeah, and the job I have, yeah, the job that I have now, like I have, everybody loves me. I think, wow, where have you guys been? You know, but also I don't deal with coworkers I have a boss that comes in and checks on me, but other than that, it's literally just me. So you gotta be okay with yourself to be okay with it by yourself. And that was another segue
That's
to
another
loving
level of
yourself.
the whole lesson.
It is. Can you sit by yourself? Can you be by yourself? Can you literally be silent by yourself? Is
Can you
that's
be
another
enough?
Can you be enough? Can
Yep.
you be that comfort in that silence? Or do you have to have exterior comforts
Yep.
going on before you become comfortable? And
Because
that is
a lot
another
of people
level
in
of
the
love.
world think they're not enough. They don't have a value. They don't have a worth, just for the reason you're talking about. That I'm not enough. Because when you sit and feel empty, you can't understand having enough. So that's why it's part of our journey, especially after all the earth has been through, to embrace ourselves. Maybe you can't find it outside of you, but it does sit in there inside you and wait for it.
It
And it's
does. It
called the
does.
awakening. You
And
know?
that is another thing that somebody told me. It's like, don't stress that you're not at a level of self-love. Just know that this is the opening. This is the beginning. Allow yourself to be at the beginning. Love yourself enough at that moment just to be a beginner at learning all of this stuff.
It's true.
And that was something that I had to do as well. It's like, Sheila, it's okay to have not known everything at this moment. It's okay.
It's a journey.
Yes, if I can't, if anybody gets anything from this tonight, absolutely. The journey is is walking through all of that. I wanted, at 13, I wanted to be 30. I didn't want to experience anything that that I've experienced to get to 30. I just at 13, I'm thinking, I just want to make me 30. And
Oh,
how horrible that would have been if I actually got my wish. I would have missed all of my lessons in the journey.
many times people will try to jump their oh, I'm sorry, she's still talking. Are you still talking? I'm looking at the wrong screen.
No.
When you try to jump steps and miss what's in between, then you'll always have to come back. So you have to not be in a hurry or over excited about getting where you think you need to go. The moment right now, this present is where you need to be. And it'll take itself however long it takes, because if you don't, you'll miss it. And you don't want to miss that beauty, that great giving gift that your love becomes um, inside you.
Somebody asked me, he says, how can I rescue 53 dogs? Sweetheart, I'm on your side. I don't know. If I had that answer, I would have a big property and I would have 1,000,000 dogs as well. The only thing I can say is do right what is right in front of you. Do what you can. And that has to be enough. Do what you can.
Yeah. Yes. I just saw Garth Brooks the other night, and the story of the dance is, and I agree, it's a beautiful song and talks about the love. Yes. I love it too. Right now, we should be able to cue in to the dance, and it would be perfect.
She let me know I could have done that.
Yeah.
So, do we have any other questions or anything going on? Or somebody else have any ideas? Or, I mean, I literally can Google the dance.
So Gina's wondering, how do we stay in, I assume that's stay in self-love and love consistently?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're going to learn how to over time, because you'll remember what it feels like to not be there. And what any of those things I mentioned, being stubborn, controlling, or anger, or manipulative, whatever it is that pulls you out into a trauma that makes just kind of folds upon itself and everything falls apart, you'll learn that there's an easier grace in I am the love I'm looking for. And I'm sure you've all heard that statement. And it's a very powerful statement, but it is the true statement that you're looking for love and all those things that occur that take you down the tumble of a lower frequency, a lower self. And when you can begin to bring love, which is the pink ray, the third ray of the Elohim from Orion, and it is connected to the 12th dimension. And that might not mean much to any of you, but it's the highest energy that can be held on the earth, and perhaps not the completeness of it. It's an unselfish giving and receiving, that radiation. So work on holding and giving out more love every day, and be the observer. Before you put yourself into a situation, let yourself take a breath and observe what's going on and choose. Do I want to just love these people, or do I want to become a part of the lower argument? And as you keep making that choice and shifting where you're putting yourself in your life, you will find that it will shift, because what your experience and your thoughts are doing is it's rechanging your life, and life will become easier and more joyful. And Gina's agreeing. She says, when I'm in the loving place, it flows so much better.
Well,
And
here's the thing. Here's the thing is you have to forgive yourself for not being able to hold it all the time. We are going to slip up. We are going to get angry. We are going to feel the energy of revenge or this, that, and the other. It is just in practice. It is literally practice every single day to do something loving. And that practice becomes more of a habit than the other. So, like I said, allow
right.
yourself to be exactly where you're at. Like yesterday, this is hypothetical. Yesterday I was angry at the world. Today I feel a lot better. Great. What are you doing today that created that feeling better part? Let's do that. Try to manufacture that again. Or take some steps back. What got you angry? Who disappointed you? You know what I mean? Like I said, disappointment is usually served up with a great big huge helping couple of heaps of expectations. And when you expect somebody else to be anything other than who they are, then we really get into some serious trouble. And therefore, love kind of gets edged out of that when we start throwing some expectations on other people.
Okay. And Liz's question here is, when you watch someone else killing themselves with alcohol, how can you love them by simple acceptance, but not speak the truth of what they're doing to them and those who love them?
Well, I do understand that with the alcohol, you see, um, they can't hear you anyway. That is literally a journey between them and their higher power.
It is.
So it says that in the Alcoholics Anonymous literature, it says no other human being can help you with your alcoholism. It has to be a connection from with them to their higher power is the only power that can get them sober. Therefore, another human being has zero power on that situation. So the only thing that we can do if we're watching it is create us a healing and an acceptance and get us to the point where we are okay with the situation.
Correct. We're not responsible for other people. The only responsibility we were given as a little spirit was to love ourselves, to take care of ourselves. We have no responsibility to family, as much as that does happen a lot in our world, because there has to be a willingness from the individual. And having lived with two alcoholics before, um, it has them go to a different place within them. And if you can't try to change that because they're their own soul and have their own way that they're going to follow. So you have to take care of yourself. And they'll
The
find
love
their way.
lies with yeah, the love lies within loving you,
Yeah.
not with love. It's like if I could just love them out of it, it's never going to be the truth. It never is the truth for anybody. You cannot love somebody through their journey.
Mm-hmm.
So the truth is that you have to have that self-love. Therefore, if they see, and it might happen, no guarantees, but if they see that you have self-love, maybe that's something that they would want. That's it.
You
But
just never
still,
know
their
what the
journey,
trigger's going to be. Yeah.
yeah, but still, it's only between their higher power and them if that opening to see that in you is going to happen. You
Yeah.
can't even, predict that. But save yourself. It's the truth.
Yep. We all are being tested in so many different ways as we live here on earth. This is the school. We come here, we come back here time and time again. Each time we're growing and increasing our awareness and expanding our heart. So we have to understand that each experience of whatever each day is going to reach back and still touch about where we have yet to go. Where are we yet not loving ourselves? What is that situation doing? And when you can start to not have a reaction, when you can remain neutral, That's what I tell people. When you can become neutral, then you know you have achieved loving a greater part of yourself and becoming a greater love in the world and to yourself. So is it easy? No, no one's saying it's easy. It's about what do you do with your day? Do you just blinders on, walk through your day, oh this was terrible, that was terrible? Or you can become a person who has a caring part of your heart that's saying, wow, how do I help? And this is why they say to everyone, peace is within you. The peace on earth is inside you because it truly is. It will happen when all of us, Maharishi talked about it, when within us we all can become peaceful and loving, the world will change.
Mhm.
So if you can't do it for yourself, then begin thinking about doing it for the world. And that will make a huge time. Oh, someone's saying the hardest part is letting go and just being there for the fall.
Yeah. Um, that acceptance is so incredibly important when we're dealing with love. Acceptance is almost the counterbalance of love because I have to accept everything exactly as it is in order for me to go forward. And the fact is, like, I have to accept that I have no power in that situation. Therefore, I have to go forward. And also, somebody was asking, how did I fix the problem with my sister? It was exactly the same thing. I went to her with my part. I owned up to my part. If I said something wrong, called her name, whatever it was, I just literally laid it out, owned up to my part, and then it was over. And whatever she did with it, whatever she wanted to do with it, whatever it was, but I also had to accept not being, like separation. I have to accept the separation as well. And I'm okay with, I have to be okay with that. Sometimes just because she's your family member doesn't mean that that's somebody you should be living the rest of your life with. This is just the truth.
Yeah.
I had to accept these things. So acceptance is a really huge part of learning the love aspect of everything. Because if I have true, pure love for everyone, I have to accept everything is exactly the way it is. And then I can then reset what is my part? What can I
Mhm.
do to help and heal? Am I contributing to the fall or am I contributing to the good? And
I
that's
think
another
you're creating
level
freedom.
of love. Yeah.
That's what we seek is freedom. It's talked about everywhere. But freedom is going to get out from under all the illusion we're living by of what's powerful or important or necessary versus the simplicity of just love.
True. I had a girlfriend who had a child that um, cut herself, right?
Yeah.
Cutting. And she literally was her mother. I could just see the torture in her mother, right, over this child. And the truth was I had to say you have to accept that we may have to lose this one in order for somebody else to live. And that means if you're it sounds so harsh, and this is not meant for harshness, but it is like that level of gut wrenching acceptance. I may have to lose this, and this is where we start becoming self loving and self accepting and getting through that. It is not easy. It's not for the weak hearted. I would not, I don't wish this on anybody. My love and compassion goes to anybody who is going through that or who is going to go through that. Just know that you have places that you can be with love, like these communities. And if you're
Mhm.
going through things like that, come back to the source for in order for you to not, fall apart as well. So at that point, you have to take care of yourself. It's like save yourself. I can't save yourself, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I hope everybody understood what I was saying and not take that wrong. Because you know how they are sometimes. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
And Sherry says it's
But it's
harder when
tough.
it's family. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
The more you love someone, the harder it is to do all we've been saying.
Oh, absolutely.
And I take the quiet moment, the neutral moment, as the greatest love there is. When we can stand back and watch someone and yet send them our love that's so pure, and they're going to feel it. You know,
Mhm.
it's different than when you're part of the issue and become part of the issue by nging, 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 nging. When you just, they'll feel it and want to know more. Something changes. So that's my take on that.
It is difficult and it is confusing, Liz. I understand. It's heart wrenching to watch somebody, especially if it's your child, um, uh, self torture themselves, and there's nothing you can do
Yes.
about it. I think, this is one of the hardest things for a parent to go through. And I have learned through my work, through my mediumship, that uh, selfish and self-centeredness is the one of the biggest, hugest things that the humans have to go through in a lifetime. That you come down to learn about and get through your selfish and self-centeredness, and it is so hard to do. I guess I'm speaking in human terms, that some people resort to alcohol and drugs so that they, because it's so hard of a transition. And this is just through my mediumship when I'm talking to them. Like, this is the hard I had. It's like I've been down 5 times trying to get through that selfish and self-centeredness. It's not working. It's hard. So in that transition to love and light and stuff like that. So they just have to come back and learn it again. Maybe that's comforting, that they still have an opportunity to fix this. This is not their end. This is not the only time they have. They can
No,
definitely
there's
have
no
another
end date.
opportunity.
Right.
No, there's no end date.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, I see we have a new grandma. Congratulations. All the little babies are so sweet.
yes,
Well, unless we have another question that pops up, we're going to um, bring an ending. She's speaking to you, Sheila, I guess. Liz.
yeah, Liz, this is I'm in years. You understand the mess. Yes,
Okay.
yes. I love you, Liz.
So, what I'd like to do for a few moments is bring a card for everyone. And then I want to sing from the Hathors for a few moments. And then we'll do a closing prayer. Did you want anything that you would like to do before that?
Nope, go for it. I did bring out my Moonology if you wanted me to pull a card from there, but it's up to you.
Well, you pull a card and I'll pull a card.
Okay, sounds good.
How about that? Go ahead.
All right, so my card for the Moonology is adjustments are required. Adjustments are
Oh, is that what it
required.
said?
Yes, I can't get it to see if they can get it over here.
Pretty much. There you go.
Yep. Adjustments
Wow.
are required in order for us to literally move towards love and light in this world. That we have to readjust ourselves, not them. Just remember that. And I have been in
I think
many
that
a
was a great
times.
lesson tonight.
Yes, many a times I've had to sit in a situation and go, these people are crazy. They're cruel, mean. I don't like it. But who has to readjust their sails to get out of this? I do. I have to pick, choose, and figure out where my love for me is. Do I love myself to walk out of the situation and never come back? Yes, I do. So the readjustments are necessary. We have to readjust ourselves. in the situations that we're in that are disturbing to us.
Okay, thank you. I pulled one card. It is crossing into the light. Let me show you the picture. Can you
The
see?
bridge. Yep. It's beautiful.
It says, today I face a new bridge that I must cross on my inner journey to transformation. Today, like every day, I will practice the laws of universal love. Thus, I will deal with the current situation in a positive way so that I continue to grow and evolve. As I cross this bridge on my way towards the light, I am reminded of the true meaning of life. So, great. So I'm going to let the Hathors come in with some frequencies for all of you. Take a few deep breaths. We're grateful to Mother and Father and the Essence of Grace for coming into our circle on this night. Grateful to Serapis Bey and Archangel Michael for coming and being with us. And the Hathors for singing to release all that may have come up and let you be able to sleep a sweet, heavenly sleep. May you all be in peace, and may each day you all learn to know love at a deeper level, as you wish. Many blessings.
Thank you
Bye,
so
everybody.
much.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody.
I'll probably be going live on my channel in about 30 minutes or so, so if anybody's interested on that. And of course, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I think what she offers here is profound and wonderful, and spread the word. These are the things that we need in our new world, are these type of conversations, these type of things that are going to heal us all. So please do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words. And we'll thank Sheila for coming and sitting with us on this night. Thank you for all your wisdom.
Yours too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.